Bound by an engagement contract, my father brought back two brothers from a fallen wealthy family, allowing my sister and me to choose our husbands. Caleb, steady and talented, fell for my sister the moment he saw her. I looked at Jax, whose legs were both broken, and sighed. A soft heart led me to accept him. After we married, I searched for renowned doctors, hoping to heal his legs, but his condition never improved. He grew depressed, and I gently comforted him. I thought if I was good enough to him, he'd become cheerful and positive. Yet, on the day our enemies attacked, he stood up from his wheelchair and pushed me out, using me as a human shield. I'm sorry, I can't just stand by and watch Serafina die. So, if Serafina couldn't die, I was expendable? He gave me one last, deep look, then slammed the door shut. I owe you this life, I'll repay you in the next. Tears of despair streamed down my face. Turns out, his disability and depression were just an act, meant only for me. When I opened my eyes again, I heard my father telling my sister and me to choose our husbands. I stared at the people before me, hatred seeping from my very bones. My sister, Serafina, glanced at the steady and talented Caleb, then turned to me, her face full of gentle consideration. My little sister is still young and a bit spoiled. How could I let you marry Jax, who's crippled? I'll choose Jax, it's fine. Really, she'd said the exact same thing in my past life. I was so incredibly touched back then, believing she was the best person in the world. To spare her any hardship, I refused. Sister, I'd said, you and Caleb share a deep love. How could I break you two apart? I forcefully chose Jax, the disabled brother. I sought doctors and medicine for him for 7 years. I knelt on countless temple steps, my forehead raw from bowing, begging for his recovery. Then, our enemies attacked our home. My wonderful husband, the man I had meticulously cared for 7 years, stood up from his wheelchair and, without hesitation, pushed me out to draw their fire. I'm sorry, I can't just stand by and watch Serafina die. He didn't even give me time to react before he slammed the heavy door shut. My sister, on the other hand, had dozens of bodyguards and a secret passage. She just needed to run a few more steps to meet up with Caleb. She'd claimed she wanted to protect me first, but after I was pushed out, she didn't call anyone to save me. I died, and she got all the praise. Thinking of this, I forced a smile, then let switch. The air instantly froze. Serafina's gentle expression stiffened. Caleb snapped his head up, blurting out, no. My father's face darkened too, his stern gaze sweeping over Jax and me. Nonsense. How can your elder sister marry a cripple? A chill pierced my heart, bone deep. So, you knew marrying a cripple was unacceptable last life. When I chose Jax, he didn't say that. He said I was sensible, considerate, and a good daughter of the Sterling family. Just then, a clear, cold voice rang out, I am not a cripple. Under everyone's shocked gazes, Jax slowly stood up. His posture was tall and straight, his aura commanding. I stared at him, my blood feeling like ice. He was faking it from the start? So what was all my sleepless nights searching for doctors and medicine for? What about the good luck charm I begged for him, kneeling on 9,000 steps, bowing at each one? What about giving up all my shares just to beg father to spare his life? It was all a complete joke. Seeing him like this, I instantly understood. He was reborn too, so his I'll repay you in the next life from last time? All lies. Even with a second chance, he didn't want to marry me. It didn't matter. I didn't plan on having him either. Mr. Sterling, my business acumen might not be inferior to my elder brother's. Jax's voice was neither servile nor overbearing. In just a few words, he pointed out the Sterling family's current business dilemma, analyzing it even more precisely than Caleb. I can help the Sterling family turn losses into profits within 3 months. My father's shock turned into wild joy. I saw the way Serafina looked at Jax. It changed too, becoming astonishingly bright. She quickly composed herself, walked to Caleb's side, and put on a caring act. Caleb, you'll have to take good care of my sister from now on. Caleb's grim gaze fell on my left prosthetic eye. That was the eye I lost when I took a knife for Serafina. Caleb's eyes filled with disgust. He spoke each word distinctly. Please, Mr. Sterling, cancel this engagement. Grant me my freedom. I'd rather start from scratch outside. My father's face instantly dropped. His stern gaze landed on Caleb. Cancel the engagement? Do you want everyone in the city to mock the Sterling family, to say we're untrustworthy? Caleb frowned, his gaze fixed on my face, specifically on my dull, gray prosthetic eye. His tone was distant. I'm not worthy of Miss Arya. Please, Mr. Sterling, fulfill my request. Serafina immediately stepped forward, her face full of feigned distress as she chastised him. Caleb, how can you say that? You're hurting my sister's feelings too much. Caleb looked at her, his eyes instantly filling with deep affection. If I cannot be with the one I love, I'd rather never marry. I almost burst out laughing. What a dramatic display of undying love. A flicker of joy passed through Serafina's eyes, quickly replaced by her usual thoughtful expression. Don't be impulsive. Have you forgotten those enemies? They won't spare a struggling man like you. I can't stand by and watch you ruin your life. Caleb was visibly moved, his gaze growing even more fervent. The smile on my lips could no longer be hidden. Well, in that case, why don't both Caleb and Jax become live-in husbands for sister? That way, the engagement isn't broken, and all you lovers get what you want. After all, the contract never said sister couldn't have two at once. As for who'd be the main husband and who'd just be a plus one or side piece, well, sister can decide that herself, can't she? Serafina's face flushed crimson. She glared at me, feigning coyness. Sister, what nonsense are you spouting? My father's gaze shifted to me, carrying a hint of scrutiny. You really don't want either of them? I nodded, my voice firm. No. Jax and Caleb looked at me simultaneously, their eyes held the same contempt, as if saying, asterisk, if even we don't want you, who possibly would? Asterisk. My father was silent for a moment, then asked, then, who do you want to marry? I want Julian Thorne, the only son of the Thorne family, I declared. The entire room gasped. My father stood up in shock. Are you insane? He's known as the city's most notorious playboy. Fortune tellers even say he won't live past 30. The Thorne family was vast and wealthy, far surpassing our Sterlings, but Julian Thorne was idle and dissolute. 2 years ago, he'd fallen gravely ill, and all doctors said he wouldn't live past 30. Anyone who married him would suffer a living hell. Even with the Thorne family's promise to give their daughter-in-law 20% of the company's shares, no one in high society dared to marry their daughter into the Thorne family. I calmly looked at my father. I cut straight to the chase. I'm willing to marry into the Thorne family for the future of the Sterling family, but you must give me 10% of the Sterling family shares as my dowry. The shrewd glint in my father's eyes sharpened. His reaction was expected. His favoritism had never been for me, so how could he willingly give me shares? I chuckled softly. Dad, my appearance is flawed. If I go to the Thorne family, I'll be without any backing. If you don't give me some leverage, how can I establish myself? Besides, how many years can Julian Thorne live? Once he's gone, won't everything of the Thorne family eventually belong to the Sterlings? A flicker of calculation passed through his eyes. Finally, he nodded. All right, I agree. After I joined the Thorne family, Julian's parents showed me exceptional regard. They not only personally guided me through the Thorne family's vast business empire but also taught me hands-on. 2 months later, the first project I spearheaded achieved great success, with profits far exceeding expectations. Julian's parents were delighted and hosted a celebration banquet specifically for me. At the banquet, I wore a perfectly tailored gown, becoming the center of attention. Serafina approached with a wine glass, smiling sweetly. Congratulations, little sister, but I must advise you, women shouldn't be too high profile. Men don't like that, she pointedly added, especially women who only achieve a little something by being propped up by others. I swirled the red wine in my glass. Sister is right, father has propped you up for so many years, yet I haven't seen a single achievement from you. My father, who was talking to someone, heard my words and, for the first time, gave Serafina a cold look. Serafina's eyes instantly welled up. Sister, how can you talk like that? I'm only doing this for your own good. She changed tactics, looking at my eye, feigning worry. Your most important task now is to capture Julian's heart and get pregnant soon. But your eye, it's so unsightly. No wonder your husband doesn't favor you. I knew it from the beginning. You shouldn't have married into the Thorne family. Staying home would have been better than being thrown out. I stared at Serafina, speaking each word distinctly. Sister, have you forgotten how I lost this eye? That year when we encountered those thugs, even in that desperate situation with your leg injured, I never thought of abandoning you. I dragged your hand and ran, and how did you treat me? We were almost free, just a few more steps, but you tripped me, causing me to be caught by them, and my eye was brutally gouged out. Serafina's face instantly turned pale, unable to retort. She covered her face and pretended to cry with guilt. I'm sorry, little sister, I didn't mean to. Cut the act, I interrupted her. Don't think a few tears can hide your malice. Arya Sterling, your words are too much. Caleb, protecting the crying Serafina, angrily rebuked me. Jax was even more direct. He grabbed my wrist.